Welcome to the Heart of a Champion Leadership Show. I'm very excited for us to be in the Heart Chamber today on location at Kiefer Memorial Stadium on the campus of Bishop Amat Memorial High School, and very excited to have our guest today, Coach Sean Koelle, the head football coach of the Bishop Amat girls flag football team. Sean, great to have you on the show today, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we have some good memories on this field.
We did for sure. We did for sure. You know, playing here and, with you, I think, you're I always tell people, the one of my highlights of playing was, playing and knowing that your backup quarterback is a 4-year starter at Florida State. And I'm always...
Wait, you knew that then in high school, even before?
Yeah, I knew that before. I knew that before, that you were going to do great things. So I think that was, definitely... obviously I've always said that you're probably one of the best athletes I've been around.
You're very kind. You're very kind. And it was an honor and a blessing to play with you here in the blue and gold at Bishop Amat and be your backup. And let's talk real quick about the injury. We know injuries are a part of the game. You had a big shoulder injury senior year. So two things happened. Number one, you didn't play college ball because of that injury. Otherwise, I know you would have played college ball. And that's how I got on the field. You were a senior, I was a sophomore, backing you up doing special teams. All of a sudden you get a shoulder injury. That's how I get on the field. How do you teach that, this being a leadership show, when you talk to your players, your girls, your daughter Riley, about injuries and adversity, kind of what's your message and really your leadership model that you try to instill as a coach and as a leader?
I really try to talk about you're more than just an athlete. You're more than just a flag football player, a football player, a soccer player. You're a daughter. You're a sister. You're a friend. I think one of the hardest things for me was when sports ended, like only identifying myself as an athlete, I think was really difficult when you get into the next level of your life, the next stage. Mm-hmm. You start to look at it and say, man, what am I? Who am I? And so we try to talk about those things before they happen with the girls, because injuries are a part of the game and they do happen, and we have to learn to give them the tools they need so that when it does, they can still be successful and they can go on and, find value in who they are outside of just being an athlete.
That's right. And didn't that affect one of your players last year and one of your top leaders not being able to be on the field?
Yes. I mean, the girl who started flag football, she broke her wrist playing soccer in Spain, and surgery after surgery in order to get it fixed. We missed her a ton out on the field. We always think like, man, we would have loved to have seen her. I think one of the greatest part of her stories is not only did she start girls flag football, but I think the most rewarding thing of the whole of coaching, especially girls, is she asked me to be her godfather, so we baptized her.
Wow.
Confirmation, I was her sponsor. And so for me, that is something I value more than any win we could have out here on the field, is that she trusts me, not only as her teacher, coach, but for the rest of her life, I'm going to be involved with her. Alina was such a great teammate. Even though she was hurt, she was at games, she was supporting the girls. And for me, I think those, and I always tell the girls, like, my greatest success would be like when you get invited to their wedding.
That's right.
And you're a part of something bigger than just the sport that you coach. That's the ultimate goal for me. A lot of people, it's about winning a championship, winning a CIF title. For me, it's just about those relationships that we build with them. And winning for life, we talk about a lot with our flag girls, is winning on the field is a byproduct of all the things that we do, but more importantly for us, it's winning for life, giving them, like I said, those tools that be successful when they leave Bishop Amat and they go out into the world.
That's right. No, I love that. You can replace an arm, you can replace hands and a running back, but it's not always easy to replace leadership, and that's something that you modeled so well here as a quarterback here for 2 years, just your leadership, your example, and guys like Coach Chewy, and I can name such a long list of guys that would go to war for you, and the kind of teammate that you were.
And I think, when we talk about, when I've asked other guys that I played with about what it means to be a leader. Why do people follow you? A lot of it was because you worked hard, you took ownership, and you cared about them, And I know we used to feed the linemen when I didn't get sacked, and we never threw the ball, so they were getting fed a ton.
Hey, about 12, 13 times a game now.
Maybe you threw 12 or 13. I threw about 9. So, we handed off to a great running back, and
a few of them,
yeah. And I think that those moments, I always say, are organic moments where teams come together. Really shape not only what happens on the field, but for those relationships. I'm still good friends with, I think, more than half my offensive line was at my wedding. Yeah. Best man in my wedding, I had 2 of them. One of them was my left tackle. So I think that relationship that we formed here at Bishop Amat carried on well into my life, and that's something we try to tell the kids, is that you're going to be a godparent, a maid of honor, best man. Somehow you're going to be playing a role down the road because of the relationships you built playing here at Bishop Amat.
That's right. Okay, so talked about the guys' football a little bit. 2-year starter here, had a great career here, a lot of memories, and you've carried those memories into a coach, being a teacher here, being a dean, being a leader on campus, being a longtime coach here for Bishop Amat boys football. But now a different season. Now you're coaching, head coach of the girls flag football team. Last year, year 1, how was that for you?
I really think it was like a rejuvenation of a coaching career. I mentioned that at our banquet. I really was moving towards the direction of not coaching boys football, and just trying to figure out what was the best path for myself. But then girls flag football comes along. My daughter wanted to play. She wanted to be a part of it. And I was like, you know what, if you want to do it, I want to make sure that you have a great experience. So I jumped headfirst into it. And I really fell in love, not with the game, but with the girls and the culture of who they were. I had been around girls sports with, coaching girls soccer,
golf,
girls softball, just being around that culture. Yeah. And what I found a lot was that the girls, they didn't have any, how can I put it? They didn't have a background in obviously playing football. And so it was like a blank slate, and you could shape them and mold them. And they were so appreciative of everything that you did for them, and everything that you said, they stood on, like they were like, more coach.
That's
and
right.
I think that was definitely was a big part of it. I was really blessed to have a great group of senior girls who really
bought in.
They bought into our program. They shaped the girls that were below them to be the best versions of themselves, which is one of our team mottos. And I think they carried that well into after the season. I talk about, I was able to hear 2 of my senior girls talk last year for their senior talks, and the message they took away was the two things that we talk about the most in our program: making places better than the way you found them, which was Bishop Amat, and the second was making other people the best versions of themselves. That was really the 2 things we focus in on here. And then what we find is that when you do the first 2, you become the best version of you. And so for us, it was a great year in that sense. I was just talking to the girls today about it, and they said, I was telling them, you've all been a part of a year where you just can't wait for the season to end. We've all been there. We're like, it's just not a good experience. And I was asking the girls, last year, were we upset because we lost the last game, or were we upset because it ended? And it was because it was ended.
Yes.
They wanted more, right? They just wanted to go back out there together.
The experience, the relationships, the memories.
100%. Yeah. And, I think my seniors stayed with us all the way until June. They were still helping us, still shooting videos for us, still helping us with social media content. They were such a great group. And that's the one thing, when people talk about replacing a Lila Terry, all CIF, Maya Partita, Rams Player of the Year, Haley Ojeda, who was probably our best leader of our program last year. That's the hardest part to replace. Not a quarterback, not a receiver, not a DB.
Not the player.
The person. The leadership of that person, and what they were willing to sacrifice and give back for other people. Right? I think those are the things that that we have to, we have to replace in that sense.
Yeah.
And we have to find those as coaches to be able to do that.
That's right. Well, speaking of players, we know a team is not just about one player, but I do got to ask, how was that coaching your daughter Riley at Bishop Amat on the flag football team? How was that experience for both of you?
I think she got to see her dad. She always hears all the philosophies about what I talk about.
Sure.
Loving others and, working hard and, doing things the right way and being accountable. And then she got to see it in action and saw that there was a lot of success in that.
Right.
I think for a good portion of Riley's life, football for me, right? So, I missed out on a lot of the things, I would say, as a young coach. Not being there, going to certain things because you have a duty here.
You're here Friday nights, you're here Saturdays.
Sundays, you're here all the time.
Yes.
And I think I missed out on a lot of that. And so I think it was a really good opportunity for me to connect with her. And that was the plan of stepping away from football anyways, whether she was going to play flag football, we had this here or not, was to really focus in on her. It just so happens that she got to not only have me as her dad, but also a coach. I would like to hear her part of it too, because
she might be our next guest on the show.
Yeah. And I always tell people, people are like, oh, they'll ask her all the time, how was your dad, after a game? And she's like, he's the same. I only ask her 2 questions. Were you a good teammate? And did you have fun?
There you go.
I never talked to her about how she played or what she did.
So good.
I just leave it at that. And I told her, wait 20 minutes after the game and then we'll talk about it. And that's for her whole life. It's not just flag football. It's her whole life. I've done that. I'm not concerned about her play. I'm only concerned about the reflection she has of being a great teammate.
Yeah.
And having a good time while she's out there and having a good experience. And so that's what we wanted to relate here. And she had a great season. I mean, she led us in flag pulls,
Wow.
Double digits in interceptions. She had such a great first year. And I think a lot of it was attributed to, though, the fact that she didn't want to let her seniors down. I don't think I started 7 freshmen last year on varsity. And those girls felt a sense of responsibility. And one of my girls said it the best today. I asked them, what was the team goal? What's our team goal? Right? And it was to play as many games as possible.
Yeah.
That was it. Just play as many games as possible so that we can be together. And so whatever game number that is, that's where we want to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good thing to have when they just want to play as many games and be around each other for as long as possible. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Well, those are some great stats that you mentioned for Riley. I didn't know all those accomplishments, but I do know it's good that she has Stephanie's genes.
Yeah, 100%. Mr. Hayward always says she's the best athlete in the family. And now Riley's probably the best athlete in the family. But
That's right.
100%. I mean, I think that I think she has a really good competitive, fiery spirit. But the one thing I'm really proud of my daughter is she's a really good teammate, and she in Bishop Amat matters. She wants to make, and that's been my whole life.
Yeah,
making Bishop Amat better than the way we found it, and then making the athletes that we come in contact with better than the way you found it.
That's right.
And that just resonates hopefully through our program. That those are the 2 most important things that we focus in on. Yeah. And if it doesn't make Bishop Amat better, or it doesn't make each other better, then we don't do it.
That's right. That's right. Tell us about your coaching staff. You've been a part of some great coaching staffs here, Bishop Amat, Servite, throughout your coaching career, and you've put together a pretty impressive coaching staff for varsity, for the freshman Frosh JV team. Tell us about some of your coaches and just your philosophy behind assembling the Avengers coaching staff for the flag football team.
I think I've dedicated coaches to these girls. I really think that our girls understand that the coaches really do care about them. First and foremost, we look for people who are going to buy into our philosophy of making Bishop Amat better and making the kids better, treating the girls with dignity and respect, and that the girls know they care about them. That's first and foremost in anything that we try to hire. I got Coach Lopez, who's off as a coordinator for our varsity. He's been here since the very beginning, and I've coached Coach Beal, I've coached with Coach Beal for a decade or more in the boys' side. His daughter plays for us, wanted to be a part of it. I think one of my big additions this year was Coach Miguel Chavez. He's running my lower levels. He's doing such a great job with those girls. I was just down there today at the lower level practice with them, and you can just see their connective tissue thriving down there. And he's a huge part of that. His temperament and his just the way he goes about his business is amazing. I mean, by far the most, probably one of the best hires and one of the best men that I've been around.
Yes,
I coached him, I taught him, which is a huge thing too.
Right, yeah.
And Coach Weto, I coached him as well. He also helps with the boys running backs, but he's been in our practices. He works with our girls on the weekends, just doing drills and getting them so much better. And, they appreciate everything he does for them. Coach Gomez, he's helping us with our DBs this year. And I don't want to miss anybody. Let me make sure. Yeah, I think that's Coach Garcia, he's got 20 plus years coaching at St. Paul, but he made the right choice, sent his daughter to Bishop Amat, okay? Her choice, but I know it probably pains him to put on that Bishop Amat every day, but he was coaching football there for years.
Yeah.
And he actually came over at the end of summer, early in the season, because he saw me out there relatively by myself. I had another assistant coach, and I don't think he was here that day. And he was like, do you need some help? And I was like, I could use all the help I can get. And so he came on board, and he helped with the lower levels, and now he's helping with varsity. And I have such great men that are helping me do this season. It makes my job a lot easier.
Yeah.
It makes a ton.
That's great. Well, I know they're blessed to be coaching alongside you and what you're doing with the vision and the mission and really just the impact with these young ladies, leading them, impacting them, celebrating them, and really championing girls sports, specifically with flag football. I love it. Just to wrap up, Coach, year 2. You start Saturday, August 8th, kicking off year 2 of Bishop girls flag football. Where's your mindset? Where's your heart? And what should we be looking for in year 2 of the program?
We open up with Cajon. We just talk a lot about, it's not about the scoreboard, 100% for me. It's not. It's really about the standard in which we set for ourselves and playing to that certain standard. I think it doesn't matter to me what the score says. My expectation is that we're going to play a certain brand of football, and that's the Bishop Amat. I talk a lot about being a blue-collar team, and for me, a blue-collar is working hard and caring about each other. That's really what it's about, and that's our vision of our program, to compete at the highest level wherever CIF puts us, with a blue-collar mentality to work hard and to care about each other. And that's what I hope we see out there on the field, and that's the thing we're going to strive for. And we're going to focus in on those things to help our girls, get to that point. I always tell them their wins are theirs. They played great. They did the things they needed to do, but their losses are me, because I have to do a better job. And I think being a leader is about taking ownership of the team. When they play well, it's them. When they don't play well, it's me. And so that allows them to play pressure free and to be able to trust and go and play fast. And I think that's the biggest compliment we get paid. Is I had someone talk to me the other day, and he was like, whenever people talk about flag football to him, he says, you got to see this team from Bishop Amat. They don't always, when you see them, you're going to be like, oh, that's Bishop Amat. They don't pass the eye test all the time. And he said, but when you watch them play, they play fast, they play for each other, they execute at a high level, they pull flags, they do all the things that they need to do to be successful, not for themselves, but for each other.
Yes. So. Well, that's what I saw last season. And coming to your games, I saw girls that were having fun, that were playing together, that seemed like they were one heartbeat. And it starts at the top. And you mentioned a minute ago about whether it's, credit or whose fault it is. As a quarterback, you get too much fame when things go well and too much blame when things don't go well. So your example and what you and the staff are doing, again, seeing the girls, whether it's at practice, game day, you don't just see a bunch of individuals out there for themselves and just checking a box saying, I play flag football, I play football at Bishop Amat. You see girls who are having fun, who are playing together, who are learning, and who are being taught by great coaches. So We love what you guys are doing. Excited for year 2. And how can people best support the program following you guys, media-wise? Can you share with us your social media and how people can best support year 2 of the Bishop Amat Girls Flag Football program?
We have an IG, Amat Flag Football. Please follow us. I think, Max Preps, follow us on there. If you want to see the schedule, want to know what time we play, those are all updated for everybody. We want to make sure that we put out a lot of content, I think, on social media. The one thing I've realized as a coach is that social media does play a role in their lives as kids, but also in the lives of attracting people to Bishop Amat. And we want girls to come to Bishop, whether they're going to play flag football or not. We want them to come to Bishop Amat, and we want them to be a Lancer, right? And I think that's important to me as well.
Well, I love all the fun things you guys do with like Q&A, interviews, favorite movie, song, food, things like that, because you get to know the players and get that connection and know, again, not just the player, but the person.
Yeah, and they wrote me into a lot of them too. And, I tell them whatever they want, I'm going to do, because for me, I think it's important that they know that I'm willing to put myself out there. I ask them to. I have to be willing to do it too. And I think whatever thing they come up with and they want me in it, I'm always there. And they're like, Coach, can you jump in this TikTok, or can you jump in this Instagram? Yeah, no problem. And more so because I care about them. You know, and then that's something they care about. I'll just think of the funny thing from last year. I was telling, I don't know what bonded us last year, but we would talk about the summer I turned pretty every day. Every day at practice.
That's a show, right?
Yeah, it was a show on Amazon. On Amazon. My daughter was watching it, so then I just started watching because I was like, what are you guys talking about? And so I really felt like that also helped connect with them as well, because I know some of the things that they're doing.
You can relate
100%.
On a lot of levels.
100%. And so that was a lot of fun, because I got to watch it with my daughter too. And then all the girls would talk about it, and it was such a, bringing people together. It's so funny. It's not even the stuff that we did on the field, but the stuff that is just in their daily lives and connecting with them. I think we always, I've talked before about, being transformational, not being transactional, right? We want to develop relationships with kids so that when they leave here, they know they can still, call us, be a part of their lives, whatever they need.
That's right.
And so that's a really big part of our program for all our coaches, is that we want to be there to help them grow as people.
And don't be surprised if there's some kids in the class of, 2045, 2050 something, where the kid is named Sean or Koelle. Because of your impact. So
I don't know about that, but Coach, I appreciate it.
I love it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate all you do on and off the field. And we can't wait to watch year 2. Make sure you follow the Bishop Amat Girls Flag Football Program. It's been great having head coach Sean Koelle on the show, Heart of a Champion Leadership Show. And all the best to you and the team this season, Coach.
Thank you so much, Chris. Really appreciate it.
On blue.
On blue.